Amy K YouTube Live, and today I'm going to show you how I made a fun birthday card with the Tractor & Co. stamp set bundle, which is one of the new ones from the upcoming Stampin' Up! Online exclusives. And it looks like gosh, the video is, I'm going to scooch this over a little and hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully I'm, moving it around and making it a little bit better. So I'm going to show you how I made a fun birthday card with the Tractor & Co. stamp set bundle. So this is one of the newer ones that is available to order as of July 1st. It'll be available for customers to order. Right now it's on a demonstrator pre-order. So if you're a demonstrator, you can get your hands on this a little bit early. But yeah, it's a fun little stamp set bundle, cute dies, cute stamp set. So it's just one of those that I just had to have, like many of the things. So it's a really great set of online exclusives that are coming again on July 1st is when everybody's going to be able to order these. If you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order them now. If you are not currently a demonstrator but can't wait to get your hands on everything that you saw in my unboxing video, you can join as a demonstrator during the month of June, and then you can do the buy one, get one 50% off on the suites and all that, and your demonstrator discount will apply. So it's a great deal if you are not currently a demonstrator, but want to get your hands on the good stuff early. Just let me know. I'd love to chat with you a little bit more about that. So I see Danette and Karen and Pam and Terry are all here, so thanks so much for joining. So this is the card we're going to be making today. It's a pretty quick and simple one. It's just a lot of die cutting, and thankfully I did do a little bit of the die cutting ahead of time so you didn't have to sit and watch me do that over and over again, which is essentially a blank screen. But it's a fun little tractor card, and the outside says, hey, and because it's got hay on it. And then it's your birthdays on the inside. So it's just a fun little birthday card, pretty quick and easy to make. So this is the stamp set. So hey, Penny and Debbie and Julie and Debbie and Kathy, thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here. It's a really cute. It's a cute stamp set, and it's really easy to put together. So you won't have any trouble with it. Once you start doing the die cutting, you'll figure it out pretty quickly. It all kind of fits together really easily. So this is the stamp set. Again, it's called Tractor & Co. Love that this has some kind of fall or Halloween-y images in it. So there's pumpkins, and obviously the corn is can be fall time frame, in the hay as well. And then there are also, trying to get this out of the glare of the lights, also some cute little Christmas trees that you can add into the wagon. And there's a season's greetings stamp set. So it's a cute set for sure. Again, for all things summer, fall, and even Christmas. So it's definitely a cute one. And then we've got some dies that coordinate with it. These are the Tractor & Co. dies. And oh man, it's really cute, Jennifer. I can't wait to see what everybody does with it. So hey, Sally, and thanks for hopping in. So this is the die set. The open dies in here actually cut out all of the stamped images. So we've got one that will cut out the trees. This one cuts out the wagon. This one cuts out the tractor, the pumpkins, the hay, the rooster or chicken, whatever it is, the tractor seat. This cuts out the stalks of the corn, and then this one cuts out the corn cobs. And then there's the little one that cuts out the banner here as well, and the tires. Now this die set also has some additional dies in it that you can use for die cutting if you just want to make the tractor. So we've got, this would be obviously just the wagon, and then we've got the tractor. And then this piece, it took me a minute and I had to look at some of the samples, but it actually fits perfectly right over the top of this. So if you want to, rather than stamping the tractor image, you can just die cut all the pieces. So this kind of is like the engine and the steering wheel and muffler and all that stuff on the tractor. And then what else is there? We've got a little tree die. This one will cut out the hubcaps or centers of the, whatever you want to call it, the centers of the wheels. So you can use that to cut out those images. Again, the seat. Then there are the fenders for the tractor that you can cut out as well. This one cuts out the smaller hubcap for the wheels. So it's a great, definitely a fun set to have. And yeah, I know that I'll be playing with this a lot more, and I can't wait to make Christmas cards with it because it's really, really cute. So the hay could be a taco. You're right. I hadn't thought about that, Patty. So definitely. So all right. Thanks everybody for hopping in. I see Amanda, and looks like Jennifer and Jeffrey and Patty are all joining as well. All right. So this is the Tractor & Co. stamp set bundle. Again, it'll be available to order starting on the 1st of July, and it will be in the online exclusives. So all right, one other thing that I did use on this, this is the sunrise sailing. hybrid embossing folder dies. So when you order the hybrid embossing folder, it's also an online exclusive. You are going to get, it's a set of dies and an embossing folder. So the embossing folder, I didn't use that obviously on here because it's sailboats and it really wouldn't work very well with the tractor, I don't think. What I used it for was the cloud die cuts. But this is one of those hybrid embossing folders. So when you order the die set, it comes with the embossing folder. So, all right. Set that aside as well. A couple things to talk about before we get going. Online exclusives, that is what these new products are from, the Tractor & Co., as well as the Sunrise Sailing that I used on here also. Those are all online exclusives, so make sure that you're out checking those any time that you're out ordering. At StampItUp.com, you can find the online exclusives by clicking on the little menu button on the upper left and then clicking on the button that says Online Exclusives. That's where you find all this awesome stuff. It's not in any catalog. Again, this is a very small sampling of it, so they're not available in any catalog, but things kind of come and go, so make sure you're out there just checking them out. Anytime you go out and go shopping, go take a peek at these because there's lots of fun things that are out there that aren't in any catalog and kind of aren't tied to any time frame that they'll be around. So also, don't forget, for the month of June, June 3rd to the 30th, Stampin' Up! Is doing a big buy one, get one 50% off on all sweets and sweet products sale. So you can actually buy one full sweet and get a second full sweet for 50% off. Or you can buy pieces of a sweet and get buy one, get one 50% off on the pieces of the sweet. The lowest priced item is the one that's going to be 50% off. Just be aware of that as you're entering things into your shopping cart. Just take a look and you kind of have to do a little figuring out to figure out which is the best way to take advantage of the sale. Let me know if you have questions about it, questions about your order. I'm happy to chat with you about that. And then last thing is, don't forget about the virtual album retreat that is happening July 16th to the 18th. If you are interested in attending that, they're going to make 12 spreads, essentially scrapbooking spreads for an album. There's one for every month. And there's a kit that will include all of the pieces that you need to make these spreads. It's $250 for the kit, and the $250 price includes the actual retreat. It's an online thing, so you can go out there. They're going to have a Facebook group, from what I understand, and you will go into the Facebook group, and they'll be sharing some videos and projects and all that sort of thing out there with this retreat. So let me know if you have questions about that. Again, the album retreat is $250, and it is available to order right now from Stampin' Up!, so you can go out and find that at StampinUp.com. All right, let's get going on the card. So card base is real red, just a basic one that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Did I score that correctly? All of a sudden it looked like it was taller on one side, and I'm like, oh, anyway, nope, we're good. And then next thing I did is I've got a piece of basic white cardstock. This one's cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and we're just going to add a little bit of color to it with some blending brushes. The first ink that I'm going to use is Crumb Cake. So when I use the blending brushes, I usually will ink up the brush, kind of just swirling it around the ink pad, and then I start it off here on my grid paper to make sure I don't get any big globs of ink on my project. So I just kind of start off to the edge and swirl it towards the project. So again, Crumb Cake is the ink that we're using, and I'm just going to cover, I don't know, about 1.5 inches-ish. Now, definitely when you're using a blending brush, it's sort of an ish thing. So just wanted to get about the bottom 1/3 of the paper covered with the Crumb Cake ink. And I shouldn't even say covered. It's more just inking it, just adding a little bit of color so it doesn't look like the tractor is floating in midair. I was trying to make it look like he's on the ground. That's the main thing. All right, so again, just adding a little bit of Crumb Cake ink. And maybe we'll do a little bit more here around the edges just to make sure we go up high enough. And I think we'll call that good. And then I'm going to close up this ink pad. And we will grab Coastal Cabana. That's the color that I used for the sky part of this. Again, same process. We're just going to ink up the brush, swirl it on the scrap paper, and then go to the project with it. And I'm trying to not swirl it too much over the top of the Crumb Cake ink that I just put here on the paper, because you can pick up a little bit of the other color of ink unintentionally, which would kind of muddy up your sky, which that's definitely not the look I was going for. So just adding a little, again, Coastal Cabana, mostly around the edges, and then pulling it a little bit towards the center. And you're never going to get this to be perfect. Well, maybe you could if you sat and blended it long enough, but I'm not that patient. I usually just put it on until the ink looks good to me, and fairly even. And even if it's not fairly even, that's okay, because most of it's going to be covered up anyway. So, all right. Again, sending it sailing. Just trying to make it look like it's not floating in midair and that there's a sky behind it and ground underneath the tractor. So that is the main thing. All right, closing that one up. Then we're going to do, well, I already did the die cutting of this part ahead, just because, again, like I said, I didn't figure you'd want to sit and watch me die cut all these pieces. Again, the clouds come from the Sunrise Sailing Hybrid Embossing Folders, which is one of the online exclusive items. So I cut 2 of this cloud and 1 of this cloud. So this one I called the larger cloud, this one the smaller. That made sense to me when I looked at it. So that's what I call them. In my little write-up that'll be on my blog tomorrow. Then I'm just going to grab one of the larger die cuts, and we're going to add some Stampin' Seal to the back of it. And I'm just going to kind of put it up here in... I think we'll kind of go about like that. And it's okay that they hang off the edge because we're going to trim them up. So a little Stampin' Seal on the smaller cloud, and we'll kind of tuck that one in over here. And then the final cloud we're going to put over on the other side of the paper. And we'll just kind of tuck that one up over here into the corner. You can use your paper trimmer if it's easier for you. That usually is a little easier for me, but rather than dragging out the paper trimmer, I'm just going to grab my paper snips and we're just going to trim off the little excess pieces here. So I'm going to flip it over to the back side and try to carefully cut it along the edge of my cardstock panel just to even it up with the cardstock. And try not to cut the cardstock as I'm doing this. That's the part that I struggle with the most, is keeping the scissors straight. Fussy cutting is not a strength of mine, as you can probably see. Some people are excellent at it and love doing it. I am not, and I do not love doing it, but I can do it when I am required to, sort of like this one. I needed to do a little fussy cutting, so I was able to do it. I may try to trim. There's a little bit of overhang here, just on the one part. Can I do it? I think I got it. Okay. Yep, we'll call that good. I'm going to stop cutting before I end up chopping off something that I didn't mean to. So that's what we got here. So I've just got my little clouds stuck on. Next up, I'm going to do quite a bit of stamping and a little bit of die cutting. Again, I cut some of the duplicate pieces ahead of time. Just because it's not very much fun. Just sit and watch me do a whole lot of nothing, which is, stamping things over and over and die cutting them. So, all right, so I've got the tractor and the wagon pieces. I grew up on a farm in Iowa. I don't know how many of you know that, but our family was a family of red tractor people. There are green tractor people, so you can take your pick on which tractor color you want to be, but garden green would be a nice green addition if you are green tractor people. Like I said, we're red tractor people, so I had to keep it in the red, and I used real red as my ink. And just going to stamp the little tractor image down here, and then we're going to stamp the little wagon image over here. Biggest thing is when you're stamping these types of images, you just want to stamp so that there's enough room in between them that you can die cut everything so hopefully you don't have to do 25 passes through the die cutting machine. Next thing we're going to grab is these are the corn stalks. And I did cut one of these already, so I'm only going to stamp and cut one of them here. So we'll go with those. And this is Granny Apple Green that I used for the corn stalks. And then we have the actual corn cobs, and those I'm going to stamp in Daffodil Delight. Hey, Carol, thanks for hopping in. So, all right. Again, just inking it up, and we'll stamp those up about there. And what else do we have? We've got a couple of tires we need to do and a seat. So basic gray is what I used for the tires and the seat. And we're going to do one of the larger tires. That's the back tire. And then we need to do actually 3 total, but I die cut some of these ahead of time, so we're just going to do 1 here today. But you would need 3 of those if you're doing the card like I did with the front tire and then the wagon on it. And then got the one little seat here. Again, we're stamping that in basic gray on the basic white cardstock panel. Oh, I almost forgot about the hay. I'm like, I know there's one piece I'm missing. It's a big one. It would be the hay. All right, the hay image I've got here, and that is crushed curry ink that we're going to be using. Ah, so you are, Massey is orange, isn't it? At least I think that's what I remember. We were International Harvester people, which I don't even know if International Harvester is still around, because I feel like so many of those companies have merged, but when I was a kid, it was International Harvester. So, and I can't, like I said, I think Massey is orange, isn't it? Or no, that's Alice Chalmers, I think. I don't know. I can't remember what color Massey is. So you'll have to tell me, Darlene. I can't remember. All right. Clearly, I don't live on a farm anymore. So, all right. So dies, I've got this one that's going to cut out the little green images here. So in lining this up, hopefully you can see there are two little kind of ejection holes down here on the bottom of this die. Maybe you can't see them very well. I'll hold it up closer to the camera. So there are two little holes down there. And you can see the green ink that is stamped through there. If you have those lined up and can see green ink through there, and you've got it lined up around the top, then you know that you're going to have this in the right spot to cut the corn stalks. And then this one that looks kind of like Christmas lights to me, well, probably like this would look more like Christmas lights, that actually cuts the corn cobs. And then this one will cut the hay image. And then we've got the tractor itself, and then the little wagon, and then the two tires. So we've got one here. They're not terrible to line up. Didn't realize the corn stalk. Oh, there are corn stalks, and yes, you do need this set. So, hey, Sherry. All right, so the only trick with lining up the tires is, again, as you can see, there are the little, like, scalloped edges on it. So you just want to make sure that those are lined up in between the tires when you go to die cut them, because again, if you don't get them lined up quite right, they don't cut quite right. So, hey, Daryl, thanks for hopping in. And then we've got the little seat, and that is the last thing that we will need to die cut. So let me go over to the die cutting machine. It may take me more than one pass through the machine with all these dies on here, but I did bring out my handy dandy Post-it note tape. If you do not have some of this stuff, definitely get it. You can get it anywhere, Amazon, all sorts of office supply stores, that sort of thing. Target, I think, carries it, in Walmart. So I use the inch-wide stuff, and it works really well. You can use it for holding masks down. You can use it for masking off the edges of things. You can use it for holding your dies in place. So it's awesome to have this, and I highly recommend it. If you don't have some, go grab it. So Massey is red. Okay, I couldn't remember. Yep. So like I said, it's been a minute. So your dad worked for International Harvester for 35 years? Yep, definitely a red girl. Like I said, that was what we had for all of our equipment when well, not every single thing, but most of the equipment when I was a kid, that's what it was. So, all right. Let me go do some die cutting here. I'll take this over. Oh, one of my dies, of course, went flying. All right. Let's get the big pieces cut here. And just when I start to think I have it all lined up, all right. Oh, and then my tractor die slid. I'm gonna have to restamp that. Hold on. Goodness. Red and the tractor, because it cut off part of it, and hey, here I'm thinking of being all efficient, and I was not at all. Let me turn it this way and see if I can squeeze it in here around the corn. Hopefully I won't have to restamp the corn. I think I can get it to cut that way. All right. There's my tractor die. All right. All right, that one cut a little better. We're going to toss that one out. All right. And try to get everything else done in one swing here. All right. Oh, throwing things around. Okay, there we go. Got some wheels and some corn stalks. Oh, the little bits of corn. Hold on. All right, there we go. I think we got all the die cuts we need to put everything together. Hopefully not too many and hopefully not too few. All right. I better put my dies all together, otherwise I'll have pieces missing by the time I go to try to put this together. All right, so let's start with actually we need to start with the corn on the background. So, International Harvester for years as well. All right. Still live on a farm in Iowa? Yep, pretty cool. All right. So yeah, that's where I grew up at, but my family lived in the way, or still does live in the way, northwest corner of Iowa, very near Sioux City is where I grew up at. So if you're familiar with Iowa, I think you'll probably know where Sioux City is, but so yeah, that's where I'm from. Let me see. We got to get our corn pieces. There we go. I need to make sure that I'm sticking the right corn piece in the right spot. It doesn't really matter on this, but I did find that the one that is on the very edge over here and the one on the very edge over here have a little different shape than the other ears of corn do. So, all right. And I'm trying to stick it together without sticking myself to everything. And I just put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on the back of here. You can definitely use liquid glue if you would prefer, or little glue dots, whatever it is that's easiest for you to stick everything together. But I don't know, for me, mostly Stampin' Seal is pretty easy. All right, gonna make sure those are all smooshed down well, and then we're gonna grab some glue dots. Grandson's gonna love this set. Yep, it's really cute. So, and I love it. So, and I think most of the people in my family are gonna love the cards that I made with it too. So, all right, just grabbing a couple glue dots. I don't need to have a ton of these on the back because I'm gonna layer so many pieces over the top of it that I don't need to have everything stuck down super, super well. Just wanna make sure that it's stuck down well enough to stay on the card front. So we're gonna take the first little set of corn and we're gonna stick that, let me sort of gauge where the tractor is going to go, so I want to make sure that I don't put it up too high or too low. All right, same thing on this one. Just going to adhere a little bit of Stampin' Seal to the back. And I think we'll get it, maybe. Okay, that looks good. And then we're just going to take the little ears of corn again, and we're just going to stick all of those in a spot. And they do have a little extra piece underneath them to make it a little bit easier to adhere them, so that's pretty awesome. You know where Sioux City is? Oh, you're in central Iowa? Okay, all right. So, yep, near Sioux City is where I grew up at, and it was actually a really small town called, nobody knows the name of my town, unless for some reason you've been to the Cedar Cabin, which was a restaurant that some people in the area knew. That was where I worked when I was in high school. But yeah, there was Ashton is technically the name of the town where I grew up at. It's very, very small. I think right now their population is like 450 people or something like that. So super small town where I grew up at. So, but Sheldon is the big town in the area if you're familiar with that area of the country. So, all right, gonna, again, just grabbing some little glue dots here to stick this to the card front. And whoop, there we go. All right, and one more kind of down here in the center. Get those out of the way. And then we'll take the other little set of corn and sort of stick it over to the other side. And you can layer it up however you want to. So if you want to go stack them kind of lower and higher, put a couple rows, you can do whatever you want to do. I just kind of wanted it for a cute background, so I just did a little bit. So, all right, now we're going to grab the wheels, or the tractor. We're going to put the tractor on first. And I do use chopped up half Stampin' dimensionals. If you like your whole dimensionals, you can certainly use them. I like the half ones because they're a better size, I think. I am going to trim a little bit off here for the back end of the tractor though, because there we go. It's a little bit skinny on the back end. All right. I'm going to take this and stick it on. So is there a number for the bundle? I don't know the bundle number. I'm sorry, Penny. Like I said, it'll be out in the online exclusives when they go live for ordering on July 1st. Unfortunately, I don't know the number of the bundle off the top of my head, and I only have the individual. I've got the stamp set number, but that's not going to do you any good. So, all right, and then we're going to grab the bigger wheel, back wheel, put a couple Stampin' dimensionals on there, and put the tire in, sort of like that. All right, and then we're going to put the front tire in. And I see my tractor is already down a little bit lower than my original one was, but that's okay. It's driving down closer to the road and showing off a little bit more of the corn. So, all right, gonna take that one, put the front wheel in. And then when you attach the wagon to the back, what you're going to want to do is sort of place your wagon where you think you're going to need it to go, and then put your wheels in so that you have an idea of where to attach this so that the wheels look like they are on the same ground as the tractor. Because when I initially put it on, I was putting it up too high, and then I'm like, oh wait, it looks like the wagon's kind of floating in midair. So just make sure that you put the wagon down a little bit lower, and then make sure your wheels are sitting on the ground too. All right. So again, we're going to do it about halfway up the back of the tire for that one. Oh, thanks, Karen. She's always coming to the rescue for me. So she's posted the bundle number. So if you want to grab that, you certainly can. And like I said, July 1st, it'll be available, and it's available now for demonstrators to pre-order. So, all right, we're going to take the little wagon piece, stick it here on the back. I got everything scooted over on this kind of at a weird spot, but oh well, that's all right. We're still building it, and I think it'll still be okay. I don't think whoever I send it to is going to notice that I've got it's set up different than my original one. All right, putting the tires on the wagon, and we're just going to put those right here, and again, just right where the little wagon slots show you to put the tires, so super quick and easy. And again, if you don't even want to have to stamp all this stuff, you can just die cut it with the dies and layer up the pieces, and it'll be really cute too. So either way, you can build a tractor or you can stamp a tractor. So making sure we get it on there fairly straight. And then the last piece to it here second to last, because I got the seat here too, is we need to put the hay in the wagon. And yeah, I'm looking forward to using this one for fall because I love the little pumpkins. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to using it for Christmas because I think the trees are way too cute. All right, so we're going to tuck the little hay here, the little pile of hay, down into the wagon a little bit and sticking it down there. And then the last thing we need to do is just add, except for I almost forgot like 3 times now, the seat. We're going to stick the seat on before I forget completely. Let's see if this one's skinny enough. This one might be skinny enough to stick on without trimming it. Nah, we're going to need to trim it. Thought maybe I got lucky and picked a skinny enough one, but nope. Got to trim this one down a little. And then we'll do the same thing. Put another one on the bottom part of the seat. Sticking it down here. And peeling off the backings of those. Oop, there we go. All right. And then we put the seat in. Now we've got the tractor all made. Can't have it go without a driver's seat. So that's it. Super quick and easy. Like I said, just a little stamping and lots of fun to play with. So, all right, let me grab the sentiment, which is the hay sentiment, which I thought was kind of cute. Obviously with the hay bale in the back. We're going to ink that up, and then we're going to hold our breath and hope that I don't mess this up because it's the very last thing, which always makes me nervous. I think I did it. Always makes me nervous when I'm stamping it on the final project, basically, and I'm like, oh, I hope I don't get it crooked. So, all right. Then we're going to go back to the real red card base, and I'm going to grab some Stampin' dimensionals, and we're just going to stick the card base, or stick the card front to the card base with a couple little Stampin' dimensionals. And then we have the inside to decorate, and we'll be all done. So, But yeah, definitely a fun one to mix and match your colors on. And, like I said, it's nice that you can make the tractor whatever colors you want it to be, no matter, what your family likes for tractors. So, all right, let's put this on the card front and hopefully we will get it on here straight. There we go. And then the inside of the card, I just stamped the birthday sentiment on it. Again, this is all from the Tractor & Co. stamp set. So Real Red is what I use to stamp the sentiment, and it just says, it's your birthday. And then we're going to add the little corn stalks in there, and I'll show you how you can stamp those without actually having to die cut them because they work nicely. They layer together. So we've got Grain Apple Green. Oh, thanks, Amanda. I'm glad you're liking it. And we're going to stamp the corn stalks down here. And then got our little corn cobs, and we're going to stamp those in Daffodil Delight ink. And they're pretty easy to fit in here. I say that optimistically as I'm, trying to get it stamped on here without making a complete disaster of it. But pretty easy to stamp in there. Like I said, the photopolymer makes it easy to see through that and get it stamped relatively straight. So, all right. Going to grab some Stampin' Seal, and we're going to adhere that. Come on, Stampin' Seal. There we go. I'm going to adhere this to the inside of the card. And we're going to be all done for today. So, all right. And I'll clean up my mess. I've got 50 bazillion little Stampin' Dimensionals pieces on it. And I see I got a little goober on there too. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little spot here where I've got some yellow ink somehow because I'm clumsy and probably stuck it in something yellow, who knows. But that I can rub out with a little sanding eraser, which I'll do that as soon as we get off the live video here. So, all right, going to use the bone folder to give it a little crease. And there we go. So my original one where the tractor's up a little bit higher, and then the one I made today where the tractor's down a little bit lower. Again, you can put it on the card however you want to. If you want to put it down lower and put a couple of rows of corn behind it, that'd be really cute. Put it down lower, put some, a couple of rows of hay behind it. That'd be really cute as well. So, all right, that is it. So like I said, lots of fun. This bundle will be available to order from the online exclusives starting on July 1st, and you're definitely going to want to get your hands on it because it's just way too cute not to have it. So, all right, thanks everybody for hopping in today. I appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. I will plan to be live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday with another card project and probably something new because it's fun to play with the new things. So, all right, until then, the details for this card will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. Once the video goes live, or the blog post goes live, I will put a direct link in the description of the video straight over to the blog post so you can find the printable PDF tutorial, the description, all that stuff, everything that I used to make the card, all that will be listed out in the blog post. So until then, I guess we will plan to see you on Friday. Thanks again for being here. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll chat with you all soon.